change. Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story. I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not? All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything? Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps. Now this... Well, I'll be honest. I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart. All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that? You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office, in fact, the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. that got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood. Cut the music, go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything. Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing? Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart. You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction? Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine. Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits. Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait, you know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination, so I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you... All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Not everyone is so lucky to have a bucket, but Stanley is a very lucky fellow. Very lucky indeed.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be. Truly, being here with the bucket was a grand adventure. Stanley reflected on all they'd been through together. First, walking through the door on the right, then walking to the lounge, then arriving at the lounge. What a thrilling journey the bucket had inspired. No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift. Good.
Oh, well, look who's got cold feet. Well, from here, it looks like the only way forward is down, since the lift won't be coming back, but that's okay. You've got a bucket. Did you know that bucket... But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
It takes a lot of humility to carry a bucket so magnificent. Stanley checked his ego and then proceeded onward.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes.
Oh, well, look who's got cold feet. Well, from here, it looks like the only way forward is down, since the lift won't be coming back, but that's okay. You've got a bucket. Did you know that buckets are routinely used as cushioning devices? It's true. You can fall on a bucket from literally any height and survive. Whoops. Looks like I was wrong. How clumsy of me.
But what happens if I don't bring the bucket? I'm gonna try again, but I'm not
All
gonna
of
bring
his
the bucket this
co-workers were
time.
gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Oh, well, look who's got cold feet. Sorry to break it to you, Stanley, but that lift isn't coming back. You'd best either get comfortable right here on this platform, or test your luck by jumping to the floor below. You know what? Looking at it now, it's not that far to the bottom floor. I bet you can make it. Come on. I'm sure you'll survive the jump. Don't tell me you're scared. That's not the Stanley I know. Do it! Do it! Do it! Do it! Do it! Do it! Do it!
How is this getting holed up? How is this not falling down?
Whoops. Looks like I was wrong. How clumsy of me.
Should have gone to the vent. I'm gonna try again, but go to the vent without the bucket. There's also another ending I want to try. There's a lot of endings I haven't done yet. I also want to try getting the rest of the achievements.
Stanley had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was.
I think I just found something. I found something. I don't know, I'm not sure what I'm doing, but can't go over there. None of the rest of them turned on.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the
Also,
employee lounge first,
the thing where
just
he
to
makes his
admire
own
it.
game, or you go to other people's games
Stanley
or
felt
whatnot, where you
lightheaded,
just don't listen to
butterflies
any
in
of
his
his
stomach. But eager
directions.
to get back to business,
And just jump
Stanley
off the
took the
lift.
first open door on his left.
I want to try bringing the bucket with me that time. I want to try
Stanley
bringing
was
the
so
bucket.
bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Oh, Oh, well, look who's got cold feet. Sorry to break it to you, Stanley, but that lift isn't coming back. You'd best either get comfortable right here on this platform, or test your luck by jumping to the floor.
Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. You didn't think I was actually just a recording, did you? What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording? It was all just in Stanley's head. I bet that's the kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each and every time you watch a movie where it turns out all to be in the main character's imagination, you must absolutely bolt off the couch in pure shock at the phenomenal and intricate storytelling. It must be so simple to be you. Life being an unending waterfall of surprises and delights. How much more exciting you must find the world than the rest of us do. Now I've become sad. Look what you've done to me. This is all your fault.
I want to try bringing the bucket with me.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh, this is new. That's new. He usually just turns to the right. That's new.
Stanley cradled the bucket in a gentle embrace. Protective, yet delicate. Assertive, yet compassionate. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was it... No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Wonder if I can get over there. Wonder.
No,
said the bucket.
Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift. Good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I've tried it. Oh, I have tried this one. It doesn't let you in. Oh, never mind. I remember. Never mind. I remember this one.
No, stop.
Doesn't let you
Look there
in.
on the wall. You see? There's a sign right there. It says no bucket.
Okay. Speak in the game again. Just gonna restart. I want to try that ending. Actually, no. Yeah, I want to try by clicking by clicking 1. Actually, I don't think it matters what number you click on there. I want to try jumping in the hole, but without the bucket though.
Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others.
See, now it goes right again. It went left.
Just a matter of time.
See, it went left. It's supposed to go right. Not sure what happened. I'm gonna bring the bucket with me in the escape area.
Ah, Stanley's bucket, the only co-worker he would ever truly need. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel...
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Oh, I want to here. Nothing over here. The elevator does nothing. Okay, I'll just go to the boss's office.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication
If I don't bring the
of any
bucket, it
human
makes me
life.
listen to
Crushed
the
by
music.
but Stanley guessed
Wait
the
longer.
correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
I want to try going to the escape area with the bucket. There's so many things I can try in this game, and most of them work.
The elevator raced
Everything
downward,
works.
plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death. The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them. As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to
I wonder what happens if I click this while
embrace the
in this
bucket.
area.
But what do you...
I remember when I was in the door room where you pick two doors, I went through the wrong door and I clicked that and it didn't send me all the way back to the beginning. It sent me to the hallway.
use
And
is
it
a
was the
sense of
bucket
ease
and
when you're
that
about to be crushed to
from, like,
death.
the door.
This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end as it was crushed violently to death. It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
Where'd my bucket go?
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own?
That's
Can you see
new.
the hubris that blinded him?
It wasn't
Can you
buckets
see
before.
that the bucket is far
Yeah,
more
now
noble
it's
than
all
Stanley will
buckets.
ever be in his short
Now
life?
all it is just buckets. That's all this place is now. It's just buckets. It used to be not buckets.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket. But there is something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools
What happens if I reset the game?
and implements. If only we let Stanley die together, the
gonna
bucket shall
reset the
take its
game.
place as ruler.
I'll reset the game. Let's see what happens. I want to see what happens if I just reset. Does it do anything? Or does it just reset the game? I bet it'll do something. I wouldn't be surprised. Aw, didn't do nothing. No fun. I don't want to pick up the bucket. Go right.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to
I
the
want to
meeting
try
room, and
going
Stanley
to
knew
the
it perfectly well.
what's
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the
lift
employee
and not
lounge
jump
first,
off.
just
at
to
all,
admire
not
it.
jump off. I
And
want
here
to
it
go
was,
to the lift and not jump
the
off.
lounge. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley,
I wanna
I think
try not
perhaps we've
jumping
gotten
off
off
and
on the
going all the way
wrong
to the
foot
top.
here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
It's the same outcome. Wait, no, it's
That's
not.
her, Stanley.
Oh no, it isn't.
You need to be the...
Same one, same outcome. But instead, it's not about the bucket, though. Oh, no.
Oh,
This is
Stanley,
new.
is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha.
Oh, that's what this was
come
about.
on.
I remember
Did you
in
actually think
the
you had a loving wife
thing where
who'd want to commit
he
their life
wants
to
you to
you?
destroy the
I'm
bucket.
trying to make a point here, Stanley.
I remember
I'm
seeing
trying to
this.
get you to see
Now
something.
I know what it's about.
Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Good morning.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Do I have to press it? Yeah, I do.
But in his mind,
Whatever.
in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
I'm guessing I don't have a choice. It's not gonna do anything if I don't. Yeah, I have to press it, don't I? I'll wait for a minute. I'll wait for a minute, then I'll click it. Yeah, it's not going.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried. I can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. It was okay. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
I've already done this ending. I bet there's a lot more I haven't done. I know there is. There's probably something I can do with the elevator. I want to try bringing the bucket in that elevator. I also want to try jumping off the mind control platform without the bucket. Oh, this is new.
Is Stanley without the bucket really Stanley at all? Stanley clutched the bucket.
Yeah, that's what happened when I
his
clicked this. When I accidentally went through the wrong doors. What should I do? Elevator or jumping to my death? Let's do elevator. What happens if I just keep resetting the game over and over and I don't? What happens if I just keep resetting it like 5 times in a row? I wonder what happens. Does it change anything? Oh.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
It keeps changing.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. As Stanley lifted his bucket, he felt a connection to all buckets.
But it keeps going to this one.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. And this was not the correct way to the meeting room. But Stanley had felt the bucket.
Let's reset it again. See what happens. It's giving me new rooms. It keeps giving me new rooms. Just gonna keep resetting it. See if it does anything. It has been doing stuff. Not much, but I'm gonna keep trying, see if it does anything else. See? It's doing stuff.
All of his co-workers were
doing
gone.
Stuff.
What could it mean?
Stanley
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I'll leave the bucket, doesn't matter. Okay, it ends here. I'll just begin the game again. See if it does anything else.
Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna do anything. And I wonder if I can reset the game, like, completely. So it's no longer, like, the sequel part. Goes back to the actual beginning. Because I'm in, the sequel, or whatever.
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
What? Is something actually following me? Or is that just one of the random dialogue things?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I'll try that. I'll go to the left.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Okay, just doing it like it's the first time I was here. Oh, this is where the door is. Okay. Because usually I think the door disappeared because...
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I want to go back to the elevator if anything happens. Let's go down. And down. Last time I tried going up, didn't do nothing. Just plays elevator music. Something happened? I bet. Yep. Same room. It just puts me in the same room.
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway.
It did it automatically. It did it by itself. Well, that's new. That's actually new. Maybe if I go through the story so many times, it just stops doing the code. That's new. That's new. That never happened before. Should I? I'm gonna try jumping off the platform. I know
Stanley walked straight ahead through the
like
large door that read Mind Control Facility.
There's also a escape thing that I want to try clicking. There's like an escape.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought
There's
to
something
himself.
else I wanted to try.
Did he have the strength to find out?
Oh, it's speed. An achievement, speed running, like speed run achievement. And there's
you've made it to the bottom of the mind control facility.
And an achievement for speed running.
You see,
like
back when the Stanley Parable first launched in 2013, getting to the bottom of the mind control facility was a bug that we simply didn't catch during development. And you all sent us lots of photos of it on Twitter and acted very superior about it. And you're all very, very clever. Good for you. Anyway, when it came time to update the game, we knew that we had to do something about this little goof of ours. So here you go. New content. You can call it the bottom of the mind control room ending, if that enhances your perception of the value of these updates. Isn't that what you crave? New content? Always more content, more content, more. And I'm here to give it to you. I'm here to make it seem like we really covered every nook and cranny of the game with secrets and Easter eggs. How about this? We wrote a new piece of music just for this section. You won't hear it anywhere else in the game. It's a secret that's just for you. That's how special you are. We call this track, Good Job You've Made It to the Bottom of the Mind Control Facility. Well done.
Good job, you did it. Good job.
This is what happens if I don't bring the bucket.
Good job, you made it to the bottom of the mind control facility. You jumped on the catwalk. You should have been careful. You should have been careful. It used to be a bug, but now it's an ending. Now it's an ending. I believe in you. I believe in your ability to cross this barrier and chase your dreams. Railings don't mean anything. Good job, you did it. 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 Good job, you did it.
I wonder what happens if I do the same thing 2 times in a row. Wonder. I remember how I could go back and use the elevator. I wonder what happens if I don't, like, just go back down.
How wonderful.
And I
Stanley was
and I
alone.
keep going up and down
Finally,
over and over.
This is great, he thought to
Wonder.
himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got
New
what I
dialogue.
wanted.
I've seen this one.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either.
When you
Feeling a wave
like
of
boot up the game or whatever,
Stanley
it asks you
decided
to
to
put
go
in
up to
your
his
time.
boss's office,
And if you do,
hoping
I did
he
it
might
2
find an
times in a
answer
row,
there.
and didn't. And the game said like most would just keep it as 12 and don't even bother.
Coming to a staircase,
Doing
Stanley
it,
walked
I put it the
upstairs to
time
his boss's office.
in both times. I put the time in both times.
Here's the door, just go.
It doesn't even. It just lets me go now. If I were doing like the speedrun thing, trying to get that speedrun achievement, be easy to get. Keep doing this. There's a way in speedrunning in this part that I found when you jump off. I think I did it in the last video that I made on this game.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read
where you
Mind
just
Control Facility.
Jump off the, like, you know how you can get down there? You climb up onto the thing and jump off, like how you did there.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself.
Just jump down
Did he have the
so you
strength
can get over to here
find
faster.
out?
I'm gonna try
Now
doing
the
this
monitors
speedrun
jumped to
thing.
life,
I'm not sure if it's
their
gonna work
true
though.
nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't
I'm trying to get
accept
the
it.
speedrun
His own
achievement.
life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it?
To this,
Was it
I'm
even
gonna
possible?
go stream
Had he truly spent his entire life
Stardew Valley,
utterly blind
or maybe
to the world?
Donut County or something. I don't know. I got
There
a
was the
few
proof.
games.
The heart of the operation.
I got a few like more
Controls
expensive games and a
labeled
bunch
with
of cheap
emotions.
ones.
Happy or sad
ones.
or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it
Not sure if
monitored
it'll
and
let me.
commanded from this very
What if I could
place.
jump off
And as the
this
cold
area?
reality of his past began
Control
to
room.
sink in, Stanley decided that this machine...
I don't think it'll work. Oh well.
blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
I also want to try, you know how it gives you like a red door and a blue door?
He had
I want
won.
to try going through
He
the
had
red door.
defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone
I
else's
think I've done it before,
command.
but I don't know.
Freedom was
I want to
mere
try doing the blue
moments
door again,
away.
but like doing some other stuff,
And yet,
doing some stuff
even as the
differently.
immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would
What
anyone
happens if
tell
I
him
don't
where to
go out the door?
what to do, or how
What
to
happens
feel.
if I just don't go out the
Whatever
door
life he
and I
lives,
just stay in here?
it will be
Does it
his.
do anything?
and that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation.
I don't think it'll do
the
anything,
immense
but
possibility
it's
of the new path
definitely
before
possible
him.
that they
This
made
was
it, and
exactly
they
the
made
way,
something
right now,
like that.
things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
I'm gonna stream. I might do some more of the endings. I'm probably not gonna make another video. Maybe I will. I'll probably, if I can figure out how to restart the game completely, then.
Stanley had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was.
Stream Stardew Valley or maybe the Walking Dead game. Not sure which one. Or maybe one of the other games I have. Well, no, I'm not streaming GTA. I'm not gonna stream that. No, I'm not sure.